Okay, 5.3, solving quadratic equations by factoring. Again, this is the standard form of a quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c. And the difference between y equals x minus 2 is this one makes a line, and the highest degree is 1. The highest degree in this one is 2, and it doesn't make a line. It makes a parabola. And when it's to the 1, you have one answer. And since it's raised to the 2, it's got 2 answers. Okay, so for the first part, we are going to solve for x. So the first thing you want to do is bring everything over to one side of your problem. You cannot factor unless there is 0 on the right-hand side. Okay, now we're going to go back to the factoring chapter. You're going to put an x here and an x here and a negative 10 and a positive 10. So what are we doing? This is what we're doing. So we started off in degree 2, and what we did was we factored it so that it's back down to degree 1. They're both degree 1. And now what you're going to do is you set this one equal to 0 and solve for it, and you set this one equal to 0 and solve for it. So x equals 10, or x equals a negative 10. Okay, let's do this one. 2 sets of parentheses, set it equal to 0. You're going to put an x here and an x here, plus 1, all your factoring skills. You're going to set both of them equal to 0 and solve for x. X equals a negative 1, and it just so happens that x equals a negative 1 again. And we have a couple more. Okay, now this one, you have to bring the 8 over. You cannot factor unless there's a 0 on the right-hand side. So you're going to put an x minus 4 and an x minus 2, because those are factors of 8 that will give us a negative 6 in the middle, and then you set them equal to 0 to solve for x. So that's why factoring was so important right before Thanksgiving. Okay, the last one, 6x squared minus 7x. Again, you have to bring over the 3. Set it equal to 0. 2 sets of parentheses. I'm going to try the 2x and the 3x. And I'm going to put the 3 here and the 1 here, which are factors of 3, and factors of 6. That will give you 7 in the middle. This needs to be the negative, and this needs to be the positive. You're going to get 2x minus 3 equals 0, and 3x plus 1 equals 0. 2x equals 3, so x equals 3 halves, a fraction, and 3x equals a negative 1, so x equals a negative 1/3. So that's the first part of the assignment. Given a quadratic, find the 2 answers to your problem. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. You're supposed to write a quadratic equation in standard form with the given roots, and they give you 9. And if they only give you one answer, there must be another 9, because remember, x squared, you need 2 answers. So I like doing the second to show you that we have to work backwards. So let's show you how to work backwards. So if negative 1 is an answer, you have to go back up into the parentheses and put x plus 1. If a negative 1 is an answer, you have to put it back in there and put x plus 1. If 10 is an answer, you need to put x minus 10. If a negative 10 is an answer, you put x plus 10. So let's see if you know what you're doing here. 9 is an answer, so you're going to put x minus 9, and your other answer is x minus 9, and don't forget to set it equal to 0. First, x squared, outside, negative 9x, inside, negative 9x, and the last two terms, a positive 81 equals 0. So x squared minus 18x plus 81 is the quadratic equation. And the two answers were 9. Okay, let's do another one. Write an equation in standard form. 7 and 2 are your answers. If 7 and 2 are your answers, you know you need two sets of parentheses. And you need to set it equal to 0. If 7 is an answer, it's x minus 7. If 2 is an answer, it's x minus 2. So you're going to get x squared minus 2x minus 7x plus 14 equals 0. For x squared minus 9x plus 14 equals 0. If one of these would have been a negative, then the sign would have been a positive. Okay, let's do this one. We have two more to do. 0 is one of them, and 3 is one of them. So let's make it 0 and a negative 3 instead. So in place of a negative 3, it's going to be x plus 3, and the other one's going to be x minus 0, or x plus 0, it doesn't matter, equals 0. But x minus 0 is just x, parentheses, x plus 3 equals 0. So you're going to do the famous distributive property and get x squared plus 3x equals 0. And the last one, fractions. How do you do fractions? So let's go back and look to see how we did fractions right here. Okay, so how do you do this and how do you do a fraction? So what you have to do is, I'm just going to do the same thing like we were just doing. And again, let's make this one a negative 3/2 and a positive 1/5. You're going to do exactly the same thing. Fractions are not that difficult. You're going to put an x plus 3/2, and you're going to put an x minus 1/5. But if you look in your parentheses back here, where are we? Right here. Notice at the bottom of the fraction one that there's a number out in front of the x. So how do you get that number out in front of the x? I'll show you how to do that, which is the last problem right here. So for this one, all I'm going to do is multiply by 2. So if I multiply by 2, because that's the denominator, I'm going to get 2 times x is 2x plus, when you multiply this by 2, the 2's cancel out and you're left with a 3. I'm going to multiply this one by 5. If I multiply this by 5, I get 5x. If I multiply this by 5, I get 1. Okay, let's see if we did it right. Let's see if we set the 2x plus 3. Let's see if we set that equal to 0 if we get a negative 3/2. See how you get a negative 3/2? So again, you have to multiply each one by whatever the denominator is. And now you're just going to FOIL it. So 2x times 5x is 10x squared, negative 2x, positive 15x, minus 3 equals 0. So the final answer is 10x squared plus 13x minus 3 equals 0. Okay, a lot of kids get this one wrong. So let's just do one more. Let's say 2/3 and a negative 1/2 are the two answers to the problem. So when you get a fraction, you're just gonna write x minus 2/3, and you're gonna put x plus 1/2, and you're gonna set it equal to 0. You're gonna multiply this one by 3, because that's the denominator in that one, and you're gonna multiply this one by 2. So both of these need to be multiplied by 3, so you're gonna get 3x minus the 2/3 and the 3, the 3's cancel out, and you're left with just a 2. 2 times x is 2x. The 2's cancel each other out, you're left with a 1. So that's how you do fractions. And now you FOIL it. 6x squared plus 3x minus 4x minus 2 equals 0. So your final answer is 6x squared minus x minus